Alright, what's up yins guys? Time for another video. I'm going to read another chapter of this here book. Another chapter that kind of speaks to me here. It's a shorter paragraph. And this really speaks to me and may speak to some of you before too, because yeah, I've been there, when it made the bigger bucks a long time ago, too, in manufacturing, where they had parties, and food and everything, and everybody played their part and put on their face to be able to make a living, glad to be out of minimum wage, but people with different financial groups, the games. But this is titled here, The Social Transformation of BS, or The Social Transformation of Bullshit. And a lot of us can add to this and talk about this on a topic, but it says, okay, the social transformation of BS. On other levels, Christopher Lasch points out that when jobs consist of little more than just meaningless motions and social routines, formerly dignified as ritual, degenerate into role play, the worker, whether he toils on the assembly line or holds down a high-paying job in a large bureaucracy, seeks to escape from the resulting sense of inauthenticity. Seeks to escape from the results. Let me try this again. Whether he toils on an assembly line or holds down a high-paying job in a large bureaucracy, seeks to escape from the resulting sense of inauthenticity by creating an ironic distance from his daily routine. Yeah, that's what tripped me up. The word inauthenticity, fakery, we use other words. That word inauthenticity kind of catches you off guard, even though you kind of know the word. We regard it and call it by a lot of other names, and it kind of tripped me up there. Yeah, inauthenticity. Yeah, when you hear that word. All right, yeah, I don't want to stall too long by making fun of that word, but yeah. He attempts to transfer role-playing into a symbolic elevation of daily life. In other words, trying to kid himself and try to elevate himself and keep people from making him appear feeling down or depressed. Yeah, no different than in a prison looking too vulnerable and somebody trying to make you their bitch. Almost like the workplace in some cases could freer range, higher prison with higher privileges or what the I gotta laugh. Don't get me started. All right, let's get into the reading. And yeah, he takes refuge in jokes, mockery, and cynicism. Don't we all? If he is asked to perform his disagreeable task, he makes it clear that he doesn't believe in the organization's objectives of increased efficiency and greater output. If he goes to a party, he shows this by his actions that it's all but a game, don't we all? Yeah, we talk about that all the time, YouTubers talk about that all the time, whether they're talking about workplaces or all kind of shit. False, artificial, insincere, a gross travesty of sociability. In this way, he attempts to make himself invulnerable to the pressures of the situation. By refusing to take seriously the routines that he has to perform, he denies their capacity to injure him. Yeah, we can all relate to that, and we do stuff like that in one form or another. Kid ourselves and think that we're rise above things, or some of them you might be working next to, the more self-righteous with a nicer car, probably makes himself feel better and using what I just read there by talking to the preacher with the fancy airplane on TV, that he turns to assure that everything is okay. But yeah, everybody deals with it. Or the other guy next to you goes to the bar and talks, with the other people and talks about what bullshit this and that is. But all right. Anyway, get back to it. By refusing to take seriously routines he has to perform, he denies the capacity to injure him. Although he assures that it is impossible to alter iron limits imposed on him by society, A detached awareness of those limits seems to make them matter less. Yeah, a detached awareness of those limits seems to make them matter less, make those limits matter less, I guess, if you were to reread the sentence. But by demystifying daily life, yeah, that word demystifying, by demystifying daily life, he conveys to himself and others the impression that he has risen beyond it. And just like I said, maybe you might get the one that turns to the TV preacher. That sounds like too. That you may want to rise above it that way if you don't choose your friends at the bar, smoke a few joints and go to the bar and get drunk and talk about, gotta go back to the wife, which, whatever. Then remember Henry Rollins saying in his Everything DVD, the audiobook, that in some situations, if they're not turning to the TV preacher, they're taking a drink either with their friends or in a car, goes home late, can't bear to go back to that screeching, scrawling thing that he was once in love with. Never touched without violence in years. He drinks alone, so does she. I remember, that's a little off the subject. Yeah, I'm just saying, in what I'm getting out of this sentence here, some of this paragraph, either or, the TV preacher or you go to the guys at the bar, they all find a way to rise above something, whether it's through getting drunk or high or the righteousness over there. As long as you got the money to massage that ego of righteousness and then you get laid off, then that's a bigger challenge. But anyway, yeah, that's just a little extra stuff on my part, my sarcasm on my part. But by demystifying his daily life, he conveys to himself and others the impression that he has risen beyond it and even goes through the motions and does what is expected of him. In turn, he engenders a deep determination to manipulate the feelings of others to his own advantage. Yeah, and then his adversaries, or just like you or me, his adversaries, or you and me's adversaries, try to do the same, and it's, again, a game. Then people can get narcissistic and egotistic, and if the game goes too far, it gets people fired and all kind of other junk like that, which people retaliate and do their things. But that's another story. It is for this reason that sociability now functions as an extension of work by other means. Personal life, too, no longer is a refuge from deprivation suffered at work. It becomes an anarchical. Is that a form of the word anarchy? As warlike, as full of stress as the marketplace itself. The cocktail party reduces sociability to social combat. In other words, a kind of passive aggression, you know what I mean? The richer or the poorer people. Whether it's the rich people in the car, you just picture, if you will, in your head, the people in the suits in the cocktail parties, they're not really arguing, they're being polite and passive aggressive, Or the tattooed people, more tattoos than you and me, that go to the bar and work in the warehouses, and they're the bar people, the beer, as opposed to the cocktails, different levels, of human beings, both black, white, male, female, different races involved and everything else. But anyway, yeah, that's just my extra things on it. The cocktail party turns into a passive-aggressive game, in other words. Experts write tactical manuals in the art of social survival. Ain't that the truth? I read some of them. Advising the status-seeking partygoer to take up commanding positions in the room, surround himself with a loyal band of retainers, and avoid turning back on the field of battle. Well, you see that in the rich people, and it's depicted in the soap operas in an artificial way, always in suits, always the rich. Then we're in our head the politics. But you notice they don't have soap operas with it's always the wine-drinking suit wearers and stuff. You notice that they don't have the soap operas with maybe the tattooed beer drinkers, both black or white people. You know what that would be like? if they took the young and the restless or the bull or the beautiful, turned it into the young and the senseless in different age groups. Say you had groups of people, both black and white, that are like some of our neighbors and friends, and we wanted to parody such things, you know. But anyway, yeah. So that's the end of the paragraph, but hopefully you're getting out of this that you can add more to this and make a video yourself about, you know, that you're getting the pictures in your heads. I'm trying to give you more to it, add more to it, which you should be adding more to it. Like that, you know, to get anything out of this book, you have to have that extra thought process in your head and add to it. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, that's the social battles. You know what I mean? And then when you lose those, you know, the people that lose those in a way are. Yeah, somebody is bumped off from the workplace for whatever reason, or usually if you win the argument, prepared to maybe eventually like lose your job, or somebody trying to bump you off, or the certain cliques trying to create trouble for you. That's what happens, you know what I mean?